start again. It's a rich thing.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about a tweet that actually came out a couple of hours ago, I believe, discussing about the Chicago Bulls being open to a roster shakeup. Now, at the end of the day, interesting news, and again, it is the off-season, and we simply just don't know what the Chicago Bulls' plans are in terms of the off-season. They do like to keep their, I guess, cards close to their chest. They don't really reveal anything. They don't release any sort of news. They don't even make official announcements these days about what's happening around management, what's happening around players. We don't know any of these things at the moment. So it is important to discuss, and of course, with nothing really to do, when something gets tweeted about, when something gets written about in relation to the Chicago Bulls team, it's time to react to it. So that's what I'm doing in this video. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about whether or not you believe the Chicago Bulls will have a roster shakeup. Now, I've seen this tweet from Daniel Greenberg, but I do believe he did reference somebody else, saying, according to this person, I think his name is Sean Devaney, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. But basically, it suggests that the Chicago Bulls are open to a roster shakeup, with Zach LaVine being the #1 go-to option. Now, from my understanding, I guess this means for me and how I perceive that tweet, that Zach LaVine will be here for the Chicago Bulls next season, and he will be our #1 option going forward, which is kind of what I spoke about a little bit in the last video about Zach LaVine, how I believe he's given Bulls fans hope, or some Bulls fans hope. And in this video, obviously, we're going to be talking about, I guess, the rest of that tweet, essentially the roster shakeup. Now, in relation to Zach LaVine, if he does stay with the Chicago Bulls team, as I said before, and as I say again, I'm completely not surprised if Zach LaVine does stay here. Again, we gave him that contract for a reason. I don't think the Bulls will be willing to give up on him just one season in, especially with the end of the season that he had. However, I'm also not surprised that the Chicago Bulls could be open to a roster shakeup, because at the end of the day, the way that I view a roster shakeup is very, very, very interesting, because there are certain ways the Chicago Bulls team can attack a roster shakeup. For example, most of our bench is on an expiring deal. Look at our bench options. Andre Drummond has a player option. We don't know what his decision will be. Derrick Jones Jr. has a player option. He's likely to accept that player option, but there's still an area in which he can decline it. Javonte Green's on an expiring deal. Ayo Dosunmu is a restricted free agent. Kobe White is a restricted free agent. And again, it just leads to a lot of questions about the Chicago Bulls team in general. Even guys like Patrick Beverley is on an expiring deal. Vucevic is on an expiring deal. But speaking of, if we decide not to bring back any of those bench options and we decide to overhaul the bench and rebuild the bench, to me that's considered a roster shakeup. You can't get rid of that many people in terms of this Chicago Bulls team, bring them in with so many other new people as well, and not consider that a roster shakeup. All those people gone will shape the identity of this team when you bring new people in. It is as simple as that. But a roster shakeup could definitely, reflect on our core as well. What happens if DeMar DeRozan is the guy that the Chicago Bulls decide to trade? What happens if Nikola Vucevic is a guy that the Bulls don't want to bring back, or we decide to work in a sign and trade type of situation? All of a sudden, I consider that a roster shakeup as well. You attack any of our core pieces, or you get rid of any of our core pieces and you replace them. To me, that's a complete identity change in more ways than one. So again, conversations there to be had for the Chicago Bulls team, because I consider that a roster shakeup just as much as I consider overhauling the bench a roster shakeup. So what I'm trying to say is they're open to a roster shakeup because in my eyes there are so many ways you can do it, and you can balance it as well. You might get rid of some bench players, you might get rid of one of the core pieces, and you balance it out. It's still a roster shakeup. So again, I'm not surprised by this news whatsoever. However, in saying that, don't be surprised, and I want to bring this message to you right now. Do not be surprised if the Chicago Bulls are also considering keeping the same team. Let's be honest, this is the front office that talked about continuity for 2 seasons. This is the front office that preached continuity and did nothing in the trade deadline, trying to stay with their word. So at the end of the day, just as much as they're probably considering, yep, it's time to change this team completely, overhaul this team, bring a new way to compete, whatever the case may be, they're probably also considering, look, DeMar DeRozan's on an expiring deal. We could potentially let him go in 2 seasons' time. Vucevic on a team-friendly deal. We can change things in the future. We don't need to change things this season. Don't be surprised if they're thinking these things as well. Because again, we know what this front office is, we know what they have done this season, and we know they have the potential and the capabilities to do the same thing next season. To get little to no free agency signings, to not trade anyone of significance, to not really do any major changes to this team, and keep the core of this team the exact same, while keeping the majority of this bench the exact same as well. It is possible. Do not rule that out. Do not put all your hopes in one belief that may not be true, because in the end, if what you think will happen will not happen, you'll come back and you'll be frustrated, you'll be pissed, you'll be angry, and it's all going to be for nothing. In my eyes, right now, the Chicago Bulls, no one knows what they're going to do. They work in silence. They do not even provide announcements to some of the things that they're doing. Still no Billy Donovan extension announcement. The Arturas Karnisovas contract extension, there's no announcement on that whatsoever either. We're relying on outside sources to bring the sources for the Chicago Bulls, to bring the news and information. And that is, again, it's normal, but the fact that it's normal and the Bulls never announce it is not normal in my opinion. That is a big topic of conversation. So we got to be aware of these things. So of course, the Bulls open for a roster shakeup. I completely understand why they would want to do that. They may be open for a rebuild, even though they've said countless times it's not the direction they want to go in. Maybe by the end, it will be the direction they go in. Maybe it's keeping the team the same. In my eyes, all these things are still possibilities and should not be ruled out at this point in time. It's way too early to really make these announcements. But look, regardless of what happens, I'm going to be excited to talk about new players coming into this team. I'll be excited about talking about I was excited talking about Dylan Brooks. I was excited talking about the big 5 centers we could bring into this team. I was excited talking about the forwards that we could bring into this team. When I eventually make a Tyus Jones video, because I know a lot of people are really want to see him as a Bull, I'll be excited to talk about that. I'll be excited to talk about guys like DeAndre Ayton down the line as well. I know these things are coming. I know these rumors are coming. I know these conversations are coming. There's no point in hiding it or trying to run away from it. We're going to be in for a big rumor fest all summer long. Well, for me, it'll be winter, but for you guys, it's all summer long. The whole off season, we're going to have these rumors and these conversations. And Bulls fans will be excited for that. And I will also be excited for that. Not to mention the draft lottery. In the end, we could get lucky. If we get lucky, great. It's not ideal. It's not unlikely. It's not likely that we will get lucky. My apologies. But it's a possibility. And if that happens, we will get excited for that. We'll be pumped up. We'll be ready to go. Don't rule anything out right now, ladies and gentlemen. And please do not put all your hopes into one plan, because more likely than not, the plan that you're thinking of will probably not happen. So I guess that's it for the Chicago Bulls video. Fair warning to everybody that watched this video. As much as I do believe a roster shakeup can happen, I wouldn't give my hopes up. I don't know at this point in time, and I don't really believe anybody knows at this point in time. I think we'll get a lot of news and updates when the season's truly over, when we know the championship, when we know the draft lottery, when we know all of those things, when we even know the draft itself, when people get selected in the draft. The Bulls make decisions based on that. They give two-way contracts out. They do end up trying to pick up talent that doesn't get drafted. So in the end, you know, there are so many ways this Bulls team can go down. Do not just, I guess, be closed-minded, because there will be more ways than one this Bulls team might attack next season. Or maybe they don't attack it at all and they keep it the same. Who knows? But thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.